Hello, this is your friendly neighborhood Minecraft YouTuber and Epic Gamer, Ender Steve, back with a new video. Before we begin, I do want to give a shout out to KNuri87, David, Luthi Smoothie, Casey Lee and Rogue Butter, Merc Ephra, Categorical Imp, and Kesho47. I always see you guys commenting and liking. I appreciate all the support you've been showing on my videos. And yeah, let's get into it. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and open up our creative world. And today we're going to be going over enchanting as a whole, but more importantly, we're going to be focusing on how exactly to get the best enchantments on your tools. So how to pretty much max out your tools. But that's going to be later on in the video. Before we actually start, I do want to remind everyone to like the video, drop a big brain mob down in the comments for +5 experience from me to you, and if you're not subscribed, do subscribe because it helps me out a lot. And yeah, let's actually get into this now. So first we're going to go ahead and go over every single way that you can actually get enchanted items in Minecraft. First off being the enchanting table. This is the first way that they added. So let's say you had a diamond sword that you wanted to enchant. You throw it in there. Pick pretty much the highest enchantment. If it's not something that you want, you would go ahead and put a dummy item in there. With the addition of the grindstone, you can actually just put your original item in there. Just pick that one. It'll take 1 level from you. Then you go ahead and put that in the grindstone, come back to your enchanting table, and then it'll re-roll your enchantments. That is a huge pain. No one really likes to do that. So now what we do is use the anvil, and this is definitely the superior way. You should always be using an anvil. It's definitely a little bit tricky to actually get the enchantments that you want with the diamond sword. It's pretty much luck based, whereas the anvil is not necessarily skill based, but you have a say in what exact enchantments go onto your tool or weapon or whatever it is you're enchanting. Then we're going to go on to villagers. I got a bunch of villagers over here, you can see. These are all the different villagers that you can actually get enchanted items from. So you can see there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. First one we're going to go over is the Fletcher, Big Brain Gamer number 6. He's got the fletching block right there, and he can actually sell us enchanted bows, and they're just random level 30. They also have treasure enchantments. Same thing with the Fisherman, Big Brain Gamer number 3. He will sell us a enchanted fishing rod. Same thing, level 30 with treasure enchantments. This is definitely the most important villager that you're going to want to trade with. He is the librarian, and he can give you any type of enchanted book. Same way with the AFK fish farm, but this way, once you have that one book, technically you should be able to lock him in so he wouldn't change his trade, but unfortunately with PS4 they still will sometimes. It's very finicky. They definitely have to do some bug patching in terms of villagers on PS4, but really villagers on a lot of the platforms they need to do some bug fixing on. So we're not alone in that, and he is Big Brain Gamer number 1. Next is going to be the armors, I believe. Yeah, this is the blast furnace. So he's going to be the armor. He can sell us enchanted armor. Then we have the toolsmith right here. He can sell us enchanted tools. And then the is this the weaponsmith? Yeah, the weaponsmith right here. He can sell us enchanted weapons and tools, I believe. And then here we have the one guy that didn't sub. He watched my video and didn't sub. What was I supposed to do? Anyway, to continue, the next way you can get enchanted items is going to be fishing, but you guys already know all about that. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail. If you do want to watch, or if you do want to learn a lot about fishing, and particularly the AFK fish farm, which is pretty much the only way to fish nowadays in Minecraft, go ahead and go to the description, and I'll have a link in there, and that'll go back to my previous video. Next is going to be mob drops. So you can see I have a bunch of mobs over here. This actually did take me a second because you can't see it, but he does have an enchanted weapon. All these guys have enchanted weapons, stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be zombies. They can spawn with enchanted armor. They can also have enchanted weapons. Drown, they could have an enchanted trident like this guy has. These strays, he could have enchanted armor just like the zombie, and weapons, and actually tools as well. You might see him running around with a shovel. Skeletons, enchanted bows, and weapon and armor. Sorry. Same thing with the husks. Oh no, this is the stray. Sorry, this is a husk. This is the reskinned zombie for deserts. The husk, and this is the stray, which is the frozen tundra skeleton, pretty much. And he will do the same as the skeleton. He'll have enchanted bows and enchanted armor, just like this guy has. This guy's actually stacking. And then we have zombie pigmen. Lastly, they will have enchanted weapons. You can see this guy has an enchanted sword. I believe they also will have enchanted armor. And these are two other mobs. These are raid specific mobs, so they're kind of sectioned off from the other ones. So these are two mobs that you would see in raids, and they would drop enchanted items. So we're actually going to go and show you that. There you go. Yes, he's got an enchanted axe right there, but he can't hit me. Oh, he can hit me. He just hit me really hard. We're going to go ahead and not mess around, go back into creative. And yeah, that's pretty much all the ways that you can get enchanted items. Actually, sorry, there are treasure chests all around Minecraft, and in any treasure chest you can find all sorts of enchanted items. So end city chests, shipwrecks, mine shafts, dungeons, desert temples, jungle temples, woodland mansions, ocean ruins, and strongholds. Alright, so let's get into the actual enchantments. We're just going to briefly go over all the actual enchantments. You can see I have them all right here nicely in these illegal boxes. First we're going to do swords. So right here there's 3 different mutually exclusive enchantments. So you have to pick one out of these 3. My favorite is Sharpness. Then there's Smite and Bane of Arthropods. Sharpness does increase damage to all mobs. Smite does increase damage to undead, and Bane of Arthropods does increase damage to spiders. And all 3 of these, their secondary item is axes as well. So you can put them on an axe as well as a sword. And then these 3 are just for the sword. So Looting 3, Knockback 2, and Fire Aspect 2. All of which are really good, but Fire Aspect only becomes really good after you have knockback. So we're going to go ahead and go to the helmet specific ones. There's only 2, Respiration and Aqua Affinity. So these both help with swimming. Respiration helps you stay underwater longer. Aqua Affinity helps you mine quicker underwater. These ones, yeah, I explained all of those. I didn't explain looting. Looting, you get better drops with the sword or axe. Knockback is just more knockback, and Fire Aspect lights the enemies on fire. So now let's go into boot only enchantments. So we have Depth Strider or Frostwalker. So these 2 are mutually exclusive. You have to pick one or the other. Depth Strider helps you swim faster, and Frostwalker makes it so that the top layer of water turns into ice as you're standing above it. So that's kind of cool. That's definitely an interesting enchantment. Can be good for traveling across oceans without a boat, which could make it really useful. And then Feather Falling is also a boot only enchantment, and that one's pretty good, but I'm going to go into it in a second once we get into this box, that why there's a better protection enchantment. Now let's go to armor. So you can see right here we have all the different protections. Protection, just regular protection, which is my favorite and is technically the best one. fire protection, blast protection, projectile protection, and feather falling. And these are all kind of self-explanatory. This one protects against all damage, this one against fire, this one against explosions, this one against projectiles, and this one from fall damage. The important one about this, though, is that there's kind of like defense points. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's the best way I've come up to explain it, is you have defense points. You have, I believe the most you can get is 18 defense points, so you can have 18 in one, and then the other four would be down to 12 with a fully enchanted set. But if you just use protection 4 on everything, all of them would be 16. So everything would be evened out. So you'd have 16 defense in all 5 categories, or all 4 categories. Sorry, I messed that up. I was right the first time. So if you use protection, you get the same amount of protection against every single type of damage. So all these 4 types of damage, and then as soon as you put on one enchantment or one piece of armor that has fire protection, then that will go up to 18, and the other 3 will go down to 12. If you had, say, blast protection 4 instead of fire protection, then this one would be 18. So you just want to save up as many protection books as you can. Thorns 3 is the only other one that is armor specific. And then Cursive Binding is armor, but it's also just all equipable items. So it's also the Carved Pumpkin, the Elytra, Skeleton Skull, Turtle Shell, and yeah, that's it. So armor plus these 4 items. All wearable items, pretty much. So now we're going to go and head on to the different tools. So right here we have Fortune 3. You can't have that with Silk Touch. Silk Touch makes it so that you pick up the block, whatever it is that you mined out, you get the block instead of the ore out of it. And then Fortune 3, you will get better yields. So let's say you found a block of coal. If you had Silk Touch, you would get the coal block. If you had Fortune, you would get more pieces of coal. And then Efficiency, which can also go on shears as well. Here we are, we're going on to bows. So we have Infinity and Mending. These 2 things can't be together. Mending isn't a bow specific enchantment, but I just have it on there because you can't use Infinity and Mending together. So you do want to keep that in mind. And then we have Power 5, which makes your bow do more damage. Punch 2, the bow will have more knockback. Flame 1 will light your enemies on fire. Then we have Trident enchantments. So you have to pick one or these 2. So you have to pick this one or these 2. So you could either have Channeling and Loyalty on your Trident, or you could have Riptide. Me personally, I like Channeling and Loyalty. And then I also put Impaling on there. Impaling does more damage against mobs spawned in the ocean and also players. Here we're going to go on to fishing rods. There's only 2, Luck of the Sea and Lure. Luck of the Sea is my favorite. It gives you more treasure. Lure 3 is also very nice. It does help you get more treasure, but it also helps you get more drops in general. Crossbow specific enchantments. Here we have Piercing and Multi-Shot, so you can't have Piercing and Multi-Shot. Piercing, the bolt will go through multiple enemies. Multi-Shot, the crossbow will shoot out 3 different bolts. And then we have Quick Charge, which is really nice because the crossbow is very slow, so this will help kind of slow down, or it'll take less time for you to load the bolt. And these are kind of miscellaneous enchantments. So this has the lava bucket, just like the miscellaneous tab, and this is going to be where Mending is. Like I said before, the only thing you can't use with Mending is Infinity, so you can see that right there. And then Unbreaking 3, which is very good. For every point in Unbreaking, you have a better chance of not losing durability. So let's say I have this or this diamond sword, and I were to kill one of these mobs, my durability would go down by 1. But if I had durability 1 or unbreaking 1, there was a certain chance that my durability just wouldn't go down, which is very nice. And then Curse of Vanishing can also be put on everything, and that makes it so whenever you die, that item will disappear, and that is very unfortunate. Let me just make sure I did go over Curse of Binding. Yes, I did. So that one's also one of the kind of curses instead of enchantments, but I still went over them because they are enchanting books, and you will get them with your AFK fish farm. But anyway, now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and actually enchant this sword. So we're going to go into survival mode right here, just because we have to. If we were in creative, the sword would just take all of the enchantments, which is not what would happen in your survival world. So let's say you want to enchant this sword with a lot of good enchantments. So I have 4 books, and each of them has 1 enchantment that my sword needs. So this one has Smite, this one has Sharpness, which these two are incompatible. I'm going to show you what would happen if we tried to put both of these on there. Then this one has Bane of Arthropods, and then this one has Looting 3. So you can see we have all the different increased damage enchantments for the sword, and we're only going to be able to put one of them on there, and I'll show you what happens when we do that. So if you see right here, it would basically just delete one of them. So you see this has efficiency 5, or sorry, this one has Bane of Arthropods 5, and this one has Sharpness 5. This one has Bane of Arthropods 5. So this, it's just, one of them is just going to overroute the other. You can see that this one does not have Sharpness 5, and if I were to go ahead and put that one first, this one would have Sharpness 5. So you can kind of pick and choose. Like if you happen to get one book that had Bane of Arthropods, let's say Looting 3 was on there, and this one had Sharpness, and you wanted Sharpness and Looting, you would basically put this one with Sharpness in there. Just for instance, this one has Looting and Bane of Arthropods, and this one would have Sharpness and Looting instead of Bane of Arthropods. So that's kind of a nice thing about these books. It's very nice for survival because you will get a bunch of random enchantments, and this is one way to kind of pick and choose between if you have 2 incompatible enchantments. Just whatever one is first is going to overwrite the other one. So now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and grab some of these bottles of enchanting, go ahead and enchant this bad boy up. Yes, all the XP. While we're doing this, I do just want to say, if you do want to take advantage of that +5 experience, go ahead and drop a big brain mob down in the comments. So yeah, now that we got some experience, we can go ahead and start adding our books together, and that is going to be the main premise of how to get the max enchantments on tools. You want to keep your tool unenchanted for the most part, up until you have a book with all the enchantments you need. This does take a little bit of patience, unfortunately. With the AFK fish farm, you may need to run it, say, once, twice, 3 times before you get everything you need for one item. But this is basically how you would do that. So you would take, alright, so this has, I want Sharpness because I like Sharpness. I just like the overall damage boost. And this one has Looting on there, so I'm going to take that one. Oh, I need some more XP. Just take some more. Alright, so we only need 25, so we definitely hope we make it there. Just not enough, so we're going to get another stack right here. And I guess this is kind of extraneous. You will get the idea when we mix these two together. we get all 4 of the enchantments. This is the wrong guy right there. So we get sharpness and that right there. And this one we could actually put this guy first, and that would lower it down a lot. So that's another thing. Whatever has a higher weight, so say this book has a lot of high level enchantments and it has a few of them. This one has a higher weight than this book, so if this one goes first, it'll cost less. So you can see I have the choice between that and that. And this will only, you should only take this into account unless if you're not trying to overwrite enchantments. If you're trying to overwrite enchantments, whatever one you want to stay needs to go first. So that may cost you a little bit of extra levels, but it'll be worth it because then you'll have the specific enchantment. So you can see here we have a book that has a whole ton of enchantments, and if we had enough XP, you'd see we have looting 3 and sharpness 5. So you could do that first. Since there's only like 4 or 5 enchantments for the sword that you would actually need. I think you can enchant an item a total of 4 or 5 times. So technically you could put 2 on at a time, and I believe that's what I did. I would put 2 or 3 enchantments on at a time, and that was actually a pretty good way of doing it. It was you wouldn't have to wait until you had all of the enchantments on one book. That is one way to do it, but you can enchant an item a handful of times. But obviously once you do it too many times, you just won't be able to enchant it anymore. So let's say you had 5 out of 6 of the enchantments you needed, and you threw it into the anvil with the book that you needed. It would just come up enchantment cost too much or too high or something like that. So yeah, now with that we went through all of that, we're actually just going to switch ourselves back to creative, go ahead and go into our survival world and just show you, I'm just going to go ahead and make myself a god bow because I have so many bows saved up in my survival world. I figured it'd be nice just to see it, just to see how I have to go pick and choose the different enchantments and mix everything together. Oop, I almost took a lot of damage right there. So I'm going to go in my notes really quick. Let me fall down here, go into my notes. I'm going to go ahead and see what the max bow enchantments actually are. So we're going to go ahead and make an infinity bow because I have a mending bow already that has mending and flame, but this one is going to have mending and infinity. And we may not actually be able to do the max bow, but I'll show you how to get started basically, and I might be able to do it, maybe able to make it a max bow. So right there you see already we have Unbreaking 3 and Infinity 1. So those are both really good enchantments that we're going to need. This one has Power 3 and Punch 1, so we're just going to take that and put that kind of to the side. There's one more bow right there, so we could use that. So that doesn't have mending on it. Just gotta make sure we don't have mending. So these 2 Power 3s could be Power 4. Hopefully we find a Power 4 bow, so we don't need that. So we can just find 2 Power 4 bows. And I think we should be able to do that. Yeah, you can see right here we have Infinity, Power 4, Punch, and Unbreaking 3. So this is now kind of like the best one. We're going to be adding all of our enchantments to this guy right here, I think, for the most part. So this has mending, also has Curse of the Vanishing, Punch 1. What's the highest level of Punch? Power. I believe it's Punch 2, I want to say. Yeah, so right here is Punch 2. So we're actually going to take that, we're going to add that to that. So that'll give us Power 5. You can see we have 2 Power 4s. Unbreaking 3 is the highest, and it'll also give us Punch 2. The only other thing we need, so we have Infinity, we have Power 5, we need Knockback 2 and Flame 1. Or sorry, Punch 2 is Knockback 2. I wrote it down wrong in my notes, so if I said it wrong, that was because of my notes. So there we go, we found Flame, so we do have that. So this should be everything. So we have Unbreaking and Mending, Power 5, Infinity. Oh, sorry, we don't have Mending. We don't have Mending. That's it. We specifically don't want Mending, but we don't have it. So yeah, this should be everything. So I should be able to go ahead and go over to my anvil. Good thing I have all these levels. So we'll go ahead and put that one right there, because I believe this has the highest weight. This one also has a pretty high weight. And you can see right there we have Infinity, Power 5, Punch 2, and Unbreaking. So we're going to take that out, put that right there, throw that bad boy in, and now we have Infinity 1, Power 5, Punch 2, Unbreaking 3, and Flame 1. And I believe this is a max bow, besides Mending. So this has 5 and this has 5. So yes, we have both of the max bows. This is one of the great perks of the AFK fish farm, because it gives you pretty much the max bow, and you can make both of them very easy, like I just did. You see, it only took me I only had to mix 2 items together, or 3 technically, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did like it, leave a like. If you have any feedback for me, definitely feel free to drop a comment. I always appreciate that. Yeah, there's something I wanted to say. Hold up. I hope I remember it here. But yeah, so that was everything about enchanting. That we also kind of went over how that ties into an AFK fish farm. So once you have this set up, you could then take what you learned in today's episode and go and enchant yourself some god stuff, just like I did, so I could take out mobs in one hit, just like that. And yeah, if you want to be able to do this in your survival world, definitely give me a follow, or definitely give me a subscription, because I am going to be making tutorial videos like this, hopefully every day. Today is the first day that I actually was able to upload 2 days in a row, and I'm super excited. So woohoo for that, definitely. I've been saying it for a while, and today is finally the first time that I was able to actually post 2 days in a row. It was a quiet house today, and I wasn't feeling anxious or anything like that. I was able to focus, which is really nice. Got all my notes done, and I got this video out for you guys tonight. Even though it was a little bit late, I do apologize for how late it is, but I still made it happen, and I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys like this content. Hope you guys had fun following along in this video. Again, be sure to like and subscribe, because it does help the channel out. Comment whenever you can, whenever you feel like commenting. Whenever you have a comment, just go ahead and type it in and hit send, because it does help out my videos and my channel just more than you would know. But yeah, have a great night. This is Ender Steve, and I am signing out.